Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Fit Friday. I actually had CrossFit this morning, which was really good. We did TRX today, which is awesome. I actually really love TRX. It's using those long bands. They're attached to, you can attach it to like a door frame, but they're attached basically to the CrossFit rig, and you do strength training using your own body weight. And then I got home, took a shower, washed my hair and all that stuff, and now I'm taking my dog on a long walk. There's like different loops here on this trail, and I'm doing the medium loop, the medium long loop, and I think it's 5.5K, almost 6K, just because I'm already like a little bit tired from CrossFit. I didn't want to do like a super long one of 8K. It would be maybe a little bit too much because I've already like worked out this morning. Yeah, after this, I'm gonna go food shopping, grocery shopping. I thought I would take you guys with me for that. I don't know if I can like film there, or maybe I'll just at home film a food haul, kind of what I've been eating, what I've been buying. Tonight, I'm planning on making a yummy dinner. I'm gonna make like a big portion, eat from it for like the next couple days, and we don't have to cook. Because sometimes I'm just not in the mood to cook, and today I am in the mood to cook. So as you can tell from like my heavy breathing, kind of going at a brisk pace, not like super leisurely, but not running or anything, but just like brisk walking. Odin's on a long leash, so he can like run around and do everything. All right, guys, so I am back at home and I'm back on my vlogging camera, and I wanted to do a little food haul for you guys. Now I went grocery shopping at Lidl because it's like close to where I live, and they have good stuff for good prices. They even have like organic things. They have like vegan things now. It's really cool. I got a big bag of carrots. Now carrots are actually not really low carb, but I feed these to my dog. He really likes carrots, and also I like to snack on them raw. So if you snack on carrots raw, it's better than when they're cooked. So sometimes I will dip my carrot into like a veggie dip or something like that, just as a little snack. But like I try not to snack too much, but sometimes I just want something crunchy. I like to snack on those. Eggs, 10 eggs. We always have like the eggs here in cartons. They're 10, they're never a dozen. That's just how it is here. Also, by the way, everything is packaged here in plastic. I absolutely hate it, but it's really like that at most grocery stores here. I feel like the plastic has just gone overboard. The only way to really avoid it is to go shop at like a farmer's market, but it's just really not convenient for me. They're only once a week, and it's not like I don't live close to it. So yeah, just going grocery shopping, I hate the fact that everything's like, not only is it wrapped in plastic, it's also in like a little tray as well. I have this thing of cherry tomatoes. I love to have those in my omelets in the morning, or as soon as I make them in the oven, like I slow roast them for like 2 or 3 hours, and they get really nice and soft. And just some mushrooms. And then over here, I've got some, what are these called? The little radishes, like the round red radishes. Generally for low carb, for vegetables, because some vegetables are really high in carbs, you want to basically buy above ground growing vegetables. So when you think of where the vegetable grows, like anything that grows above ground is good. Radishes are an exception because they grow below the ground, but they are an exception. So they are very low carb, and they're full of like really good nutrients as well. So I love those. Then I just have some beef stock for the stew that I'm making tonight. And then over here I have some milk. I have the regular dairy milk, and then I have some almond milk as well, because I like to make my post-workout smoothie. I like to make that with almond milk. Then I have some bell peppers over here. I absolutely love bell peppers. They're so good, and like you can have them raw. Bacon. I like that sometimes for breakfast as well, like bacon and eggs. That's just like a classic low-carb breakfast. I always like to add in some type of vegetable as well, like cherry tomatoes or sometimes spinach or whatever. And then over here I have these picnic eggs. So here you can actually buy eggs that are already hard boiled. I don't know if you can buy that in like North America, but I mean, obviously I could just boil these eggs if I wanted, but I find these are just like so convenient to have, and you can just crack one open, and if you want a quick protein snack, like that's really good. Celery, I'm going to put that in the stew tonight. I'm gonna make a big thing of stew that we can eat like the next few days. So I bought 2 big pieces of beef. This is Seedfleisch, and this is also organic beef, and it is grass-fed. I mean, I don't eat beef a whole lot anymore, to be honest. Like, it is rare that I do eat beef. These are just canned tomatoes, chopped up canned tomatoes, And yeah, they're peeled as well. Really nothing in there except for tomatoes. And this is for my stew as well tonight. So I'm gonna get started on that because this stew needs to cook for a while. Oh, and then over here I just have some vegetables here, but these are actually for my dog. He gets vegetables in his food, so this is just like a mix of, what is it, carrot, broccoli, and cauliflower. So I'm gonna steam some of that for him to put in his food. I'm gonna sit down for a bit because I feel like I've just been on my feet all day. And I'm gonna have some tea and then I'll check in with you guys later and I'm gonna show you how I make that stew. So first I cut the meat up into little bite-sized chunks. Now I think this is shoulder piece, so it's like a tough piece of meat that needs to be cooked or stewed for a really long time to get soft and tender. And then I seared them in small portions in a very hot pan. Like it needs to be super hot so that the edges brown and crisp up. So don't put too much meat in the pan at once, otherwise all the juices will come out. I basically just cut up the rest of the meat so you can kind of see there's chunks, and if there's any like weird pieces, you can just cut those out. And then I also sliced up a couple of red onions and I put those in a huge giant pot. Now if you want to do this in a crock pot or something, you can do that as well. But basically I also seared the onions on high heat and browned those up. Meanwhile I was doing the meat in the other pan. And then once the meat was like really brown and crisp, I actually transferred it into that huge pan with the onions, and then I also added some spices. So here I'm adding paprika, or you can, add whatever you want, like just any kind of spice that you think goes good with stew. I basically used paprika and a few other things. And then I added those 4 cans of tomatoes. So it just depends like how much meat you're making or how much quantity you want to make. Like I'm saying, I made a giant pot of this, so that's why I added all 4. And I also added in some hot water, because I don't want it to be just the tomatoes. I want it to be more like a stewing sauce. So I added some water in there as well. And then I also added some granulated beef stock. So this is basically like bouillon. And I mean, obviously the beef is already gonna give a lot of flavor, but this just kind of enhances the beef taste. So I added a couple of spoonfuls of that. And then I also added a couple of bay leaves. Those work really well in stew. Because this is gonna be cooking for a really long time. And I also added some dried thyme because that's what I had on hand. So I just added some of that to that big pot. And then you wanna bring this up to a really high boil so that it cooks once, like all the way through. And then you wanna basically just put it on to simmer. And I actually had some bacon also in my fridge that just needed to be used up. So I just fried up the bacon, drained some of the excess fat, and then put the bacon in there as well, just because I had that on hand. So the meat and the broth, it's cooking now. So it's gonna get more and more tender. I would say at least like try to aim for at least like 1.5 or 2 hours, but you can definitely do this in like a slow cooker or something. But the reason I don't add the vegetables now is because I don't like when the vegetables are so mushy, because if I were to cook these vegetables now for like 2 hours, they're literally going to be just like mush and have no texture, and I just really don't like that. So what I like to do is I do the meat and the sauce first for a couple hours because it's like tough meat, so it needs to cook for a long time to get tender. Then I will add the vegetables like in the last like 20 or 30 minutes or something, so that the flavor gets infused but they don't turn to like complete mush. Peppers up here, so I have a red and a yellow one. Celery over here, and that whole thing of mushrooms. And then those 2 little boxes of radishes. If you're cooking low carb, just try to pick vegetables that grow above ground. So no root vegetables or nothing that grows like underneath the earth, except for radishes. Like I said, that's a good exception. You can also do eggplants, like that's a really nice one. I didn't get one this time, but here I actually do have carrots. So these are only 2 carrots because these are higher carb. I love the taste of carrots in a stew, so I just didn't do too many. There's only 2 carrots in here instead of doing like 4 or 5, which is what I would normally put in. Yes, there's a lot of meat, but there's like a ton of vegetables. So this is like bubbling away. You want to put it on a lower heat setting, not like maximum. You just want it kind of to simmer. Oh, I also added a couple more things in here. I added some cinnamon. There's a cinnamon stick here, and I also added some star anise, which you can see there. And I'm going to let this basically stew. You could definitely do this if you have a crock pot. You could put this on overnight. I mean, I don't have a crock pot, so I'm not sure how they work. And then this I'm gonna put in within like the last, I think like half an hour or so. You can add it now if you want. Just be mindful that the vegetable will be like totally mushy at the end. Okay, so it's been cooking for about an hour and 45 minutes, and the meat is starting to get nice and soft. Dumped in all the vegetables. Oh my God, you guys. This stew is going to be so bomb. The flavors are just so delicious already. I like taste of the sauce. It's incredible. You can always add more salt and pepper. I added a little bit of chili flakes actually to it as well. Yeah, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. I'm getting actually super hungry. I should have started cooking this a little bit earlier. Yeah, I'm gonna cook this until basically just the vegetables are like soft but not mush. So I wanted to show you now at the end. So after I put in the vegetables, it was like very kind of soupy. So I just put it on high heat. I took the lid off to let some of the liquid evaporate, and I feel like now it's the perfect texture, so I'll show you what it looks like. Here is the stew. Oh my God, if I go too close with a close-up shot, it's gonna get all steamed up. But oh my God, look at this. It is looking so good with all those vegetables, which are now perfectly cooked, and the meat is at that perfect consistency. Like, it's not falling apart, like it's not so cooked that it just like disintegrates, but it's definitely nice and soft. Serve myself some of this delicious stew now. I'm very hungry at this point. Yummy. It's super low carb, and it's really quite different to how I used to make my stew. I used to add like red wine to it, potatoes, and I would add corn at the end, and that all made it like very heavy and like carb rich. The only thing that's really high in carbs is the carrots, but that's why I've only added 2 of them, so it's not too carby. But I'm gonna go sit down and watch my show. I'm watching The Passage. I don't know if any of you guys are watching that. Oh my God, it's so good. I used to make this so differently, and it tastes just as good like this. The beef is so tender, you guys. Yeah, it's super yummy, especially on like the cold winter nights that we have. I think it's supposed to be like -10 Celsius here tonight. So I was in the mood for something like hearty and warm. And it's like very healthy, because when you think about it, it's really just like vegetables and meat. That's really all it is. Yeah, and it's like very filling. Thank you guys so much for watching another Fit Friday. Let me know if you've been enjoying the series, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.